with respect to this morning inspiration, something that has been on my mind for a long time, something that I've lived with for a long time, and it's the word vision. Vision, eyesight. This has been something that has been on the forefront of my mind ever since I was a kid. In fact, I would say it started when I was in second grade, when I recognized that chalkboard is getting a little blurry. Those cars in the distance are a little blurry. My friends playing on the field over there are kind of blurry, but I didn't necessarily lose my eyesight overnight. It gradually got worse. It gradually got harder to see until when I woke up one day about halfway through third grade and life looked like that. If you have glasses, if you have contacts, if your vision is not 20/20, maybe you can relate. But ever since I was in second grade, vision has been on my mind because as mine slowly started to fade, that's what I would see starting in about the third grade or so. Well, that was a bummer because I didn't want that. This was outside of my control. It's not like I could eat a vegetable. It's not like I could do 10 push-ups and get my eyesight restored. This was something I didn't want, but it was something I couldn't control. The good news is society today has a bit of a tool to assist people that look at life like this, and this tool is represented here, these glasses. These things have been on my face since third grade. I mean, it's like they're glued on to my punum, as it were. And when I first was told I had to wear glasses, I'll be honest, I was kind of sad. Again, I didn't want them. I couldn't control this. Plus, the other thing that was kind of sad, too, at least for me back in the day, I thought glasses made people look kind of dorky, kind of dweeby. Now imagine Paul M. Newberger as a dork. It's hard, I can imagine that. But I just thought that's what I was going to look like as I started wearing these. After I started to wear glasses, I realized if you have glasses, there's a whole host of other problems. You got to find them. Where did I put my glasses? Oh my gosh, you got to keep track of them. Sometimes you sit on them, which I did during Pee Wee football in full pads, squashed my glasses just like that. They slide down your face. You get the lens scratched, and it's like looking at life through a car wash. You're on vacation, and they fall into the drink, and now you got to spend a whole day getting a new pair. Glasses, glasses, glasses. It just, when you have a vision problem, glasses, although they can help you see, can be a bit of an inconvenience. And one thing that I noticed as I got older, as I got more mature, as I started to grow in my faith, glasses or not, the vast majority of us in society today have a vision problem. Unlike maybe having bad eyes, we control this vision problem. Whether consciously or unconsciously, we dictate how severe this problem is for us. Unlike having bad eyes, it has nothing to do with the quality of your eyesight, but everything to do with where you affix your eyes, where you concentrate your vision, and where you look off into the horizon. Now, regrettably, glasses cannot cure this vision problem. There is something out there that I think could. We'll show it up here. Us as humans wearing this probably is not overly feasible, but blinders. You see horses walking around with blinders. Why do horses walk around wearing blinders? Well, horses, especially if you're riding one, you don't want him to see Timmy with the ice cream cone and get excited. You don't want him to see an animal over there and woo-hoo-hoo-hoo. All of a sudden he bucks you off. I mean, you got these blinders on to keep the horse focused, to keep the horse going straight, to not see these distractions on the side. And I get it when people say, don't go through life with blinders. I get it. But with this particular vision problem that I'm referring to, sometimes us having blinders is actually a good thing. So I've got a couple of questions I just want you to ponder as I dig deeper into this morning. First question is this: in any given day, where are you affixing your gaze? What are you looking at? What is drawing your attention? What is drawing your eyesight? What are you setting your eyes on? And more importantly, when your eyes are looking at this, when your gaze is in this direction, where aren't your eyes? You only have two of them. So if my eyes are here, they're not somewhere else. Where is that not somewhere else in your life? Now, this is important because biblically speaking, We could have serious problems if we take our eyes off where they should be, if our vision is concentrated in the wrong spot. Now, we're all very familiar with this verse. We're going to put it up on the screen here. Matthew chapter 14, starting at verse 22. Immediately, Jesus made the disciples get into the boat and go on ahead of him to the other side while he dismissed the crowd. After he had dismissed them, he went up on a mountainside by himself to pray. Later that night, he was there alone, and the boat was already a considerable distance from land, buffeted by the waves, because the wind was against it. Shortly before dawn, Jesus went out to them walking on the lake. When the disciples saw him walking on the lake, they were terrified. "It's a ghost," they said, and cried out in fear. But Jesus immediately said to them, "Take courage, it is I, don't be afraid." "Lord, if it's you," Peter replied, "tell me to come to you on the water." "Come," he said. Then Peter got down out of the boat, walked on the water, and came toward Jesus. But when he saw the wind, he was afraid, and beginning to sink, cried out, "Lord, save me." Immediately Jesus reached out his hand and caught him. "You of little faith," he said, "why did you doubt?" And when they climbed into the boat, the wind died down. Then those who were in the boat worshiped him, saying, "Truly, you are the Son of God." There's a lot to unpack in this verse, but the thing that I think about, especially in terms of vision, is when was Peter doing well? When his eyes were affixed on his Lord and Savior, when he was looking at his Lord and Savior, he could do the impossible. He could walk on water. When his eyes were affixed on his Lord and Savior, he was brave, he was calm. Man, there's nothing I can't do. But when did Peter run into trouble? When his eyes went off of Jesus and he looked at the waves, he looked at the wind, he looked at the storm, and he sank. Now, I'm not just saying this to pick on Peter, I'm also saying this is very synonymous with what happens in our own life, doesn't it? When our eyes are on Jesus, when our eyes are on the cross, when our eyes are on the light, we're fine. But what happens when we take our eyes off of those things? We start to sink. Now, here's the problem. It's not an immediate sink. It's not, I'm here 1 minute, gone the next moment. It is a slow fade. It is a gradual sinking. And sometimes it can be so slow and gradual, we don't even know it's happening. It happens when we focus on things of this world. It happens when we gaze upon false idols. It happens when we affix our eyes on anything that keeps us from God. But a lot of us are sitting here going, "Paul, I don't have that problem." Is it? Or is it just that it's so slow, so subtle, so gradual, you're not even recognizing it? Because there's a story that I'm familiar with about this gradual sinking. When this young man was about 14 years old, his parents got the internet for the first time. Boy, was that sweet. Instant sports scores, instant news, email. What's that? I mean, when you got the internet, that's a lot of tools at your disposal, a lot of freedom. But with that freedom comes temptation. And we know that not everything on the internet is savory. And this young man started to experiment with websites that were inappropriate, that were glorifying the human body, that were glorifying things of the flesh that he probably shouldn't be looking at, but it's one of those things, oh, once in a while is fine. Once in a while is okay. This isn't hurting anybody. And as long as this young man's eyes stayed there, his eyes were not on the cross. So what started to happen is with this slow fade, with this gradual sinking, once or twice a week turned into several times a day. It became a borderline obsession. It hurt his quality of life. It hurt his relationships to some degree. And it really forced this young man to reevaluate his priorities. Well, that young man was me. And that was several years ago, thank goodness, but I didn't recognize what was happening until it started consuming my life, because my eyes were not on the cross, my eyes were not on Jesus, and you shouldn't have to sink to realize you've got a problem. So what I would say here as I start to wrap up is, as business people, we're familiar with vision statements. They help lead our organization. They're guideposts for how we conduct our business. Let us at C-Suite for Christ this morning not have a vision statement, but make a vision statement. Our vision statement is going to be that we're going to keep our eyes on God. We're going to keep our eyes on the cross. We're going to keep our eyes on the light and aspire to have as close to 20/20 vision as possible, because that is the answer for keeping us out of some of this hot water and for drowning from time to time. I'm going to end on this. One of my favorite, you guys know that I love Christian music, I love K-Love. One of my favorite song lyrics comes from Just Be Held by Casting Crowns. And it goes something like this. If your eyes are on the storm, you'll wonder if I love you still. But if your eyes are on the cross, you'll know that I always have and I always will. That's our call. We can't control the quality of our eyes, but we can darn control where we affix our eyes. Here's the last image for you. I want you to take a look at this. As you are trying to be like Peter, as you're trying to get out of the boat, as you're trying to walk on the water, as you're trying to navigate these storms, focus on Jesus and not on the storm, not on the waves, not on the wind, not on what's going on in the distant horizon. Focus on your Lord and Savior, and that will keep us from drowning. You've got to be on guard. You've got to be cautious. You've got to be on alert, because you don't drown instantly. You don't go under instantly. Instead, it's a slow fade.